Today, I'm going to give you my opinion on the Rocket Apartamento Neuro. This is an $1,800 espresso machine that is a heat exchanger, which means you can steam and brew at the same time. But before we get into this, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in to Kabin's Coffee Corner. This channel is designed to help you choose the coffee gear you want to brew with at home. There's a lot of different options out there, so my goal is to do reviews and comparisons to help you make an educated decision so you only have to buy your machine once and you don't make a regret when you do so. So if you could please like and subscribe, that really helps me out as a YouTuber and a content creator and help me push my content out there more. I also want to say a quick shout out and thank you to Joe from Espresso Outlet. Joe from Espresso Outlet reached out to me to do reviews on some of the machines that they sell. So he sends me a machine. I review it and test it out for about a month or so, pulling shots, doing whatever I want to do, and then I review it on YouTube. With this, I'm allowed to review it however I want to without any say from Joe, so I'm allowed to give my full opinion on this machine. When I'm done with it, I box it up and Joe sells it as an open box item. So please tune into Espresso Outlet's website because you could get one of these heavily discounted through him or different machines like that I'm reviewing here on this channel. So stay tuned on that because those are some hefty discounts at a very lightly used machine and very well taken care of machine. So on that note, keep in mind this is 100% freedom on whatever I want to say about this machine. So I'm going to give you an honest review of it. Also, again, please subscribe. I am going to be comparing this to the Flair 58 manual espresso machine, so quite a difference. So let's go ahead and start up. There are two versions of this machine. There's the Rocket Apartamento and there's a Rocket Apartamento Neuro. Those are about a $50 price range. I think the original one starts at $1,750 and this one starts at about $1,800. You can change the circle colors on the side. Notice how these are white. I believe you can get them in copper or black. But typically this machine has a silver stainless steel siding on it instead of this matte black finish, and it also has a plastic cup rail. So with that extra $50, you're getting this matte black and nice metal cup rail, and this is about a $100 purchase, give or take, if you want to buy this cup rail as an additional cost. So it's well worth the upgrade in my opinion on it. So a couple of the features on here, we have a steam wand here and the hot water tap here, and then a E61 group head right there. Water tank in the back, and this one has a secret button on the bottom of it which allows the machine to basically turn off automatically after a period of time, which is a nice feature. It comes with the sprouted 18-gram basket here and a single basket here with a single spout on the bottom, a user manual, a flash drive that also has the user manual on there, the back flush disc, a group head cleaning brush, a couple stickers, a stainless steel metal tamper, and a cleaning cloth from Rocket. So I want to go ahead and say a couple things that I like and don't like about this machine. I've pulled about 50 shots on this. One of them I did about 6 shots and 6 lattes, specifically 6 milk drinks, so cappuccinos, lattes, and some cortados and macchiatos with it, and I did that in about 20 minutes just to test to see how well this machine pulled off. So a couple features. There's a nice little toggle on and on switch here that will automatically turn off the machine if it's on the on mode and you run out of water. The con to this is when you're pulling a shot, if you don't have enough water in the tank, it will just shut it off mid-shot. I've never personally had an issue with that in any of my machines because I feel like I check the water tank more often than is necessary. So it's never really low to me and I never have that issue. They have this nice little cover for the water tray here with a plastic guard so nothing gets into the water tank. It has a nice water tank that comes out. You can't pump this in or anything like that. You can steam and brew at the same time with this machine. I find that to work fairly well. However, I do have to be careful of a few things. Just one moment as I grab some stuff. So I noticed when I was pulling a shot, there's a couple things that I don't like about this machine. Right off is, this is the Akai Lunar Scale. This is one of the top rated ones for espresso. When you put it on here, I feel like I have to push it forward more because you have a water spigot right here that allows it when you shut off the machine that some excess water gets pushed through. So you have to pull it out a little bit, which you're putting it really, really close to the edge of it, which oftentimes I feel like it ends up going here. One of the reasons for that is if you put, say, this cup on here, which is just a cappuccino size cup from Not Neutral, if you put that on here, this ends up hitting this back spigot here, which means you have to pull out the tray here, which means it sits down further. Along with that, when you pull lever here to turn on the group head and to allow water flow, depending on your cup and depending on your placement, it's really easy to hit the cup with this lever and get in the way here. I did once drop the entire drip tray off of this because I spilt my cup while brewing a shot, because what happens was I moved the cup slightly and it hit that here and knocked it off, and the scale came out everywhere. So when you put this size cup in here, this is the only way it fits on there because you have to watch that back end of it, and I naturally put my handle on this side. If it's on this side, it's going to hit the steam one. So it seems like it's a very congested drip tray with all of that going on in there, and that caused a lot of frustrations for me. I also noticed specifically on the drip tray, there's a couple nice things. This is magnetic on there, which makes it a nice snap. But the thing about this drip tray is it stays fairly clean on the bottom of it. I've noticed on some of my other machines, you get this nasty sludge type stuff in the bottom of it from all your coffee, all the things like that in there. This one I haven't noticed it to be as bad, but the drip tray is rather small. So when I pulled 6 back-to-back milk drinks with this machine, what happened was I eventually filled the drip tray to the brim after about 6 shots. And that was without rinsing off my portafilter through the group head. I rinsed it off in the sink. So if I would have done that, it would have filled it out quite a bit, which is a little disappointing. I wish that this went all the way down and added a little bit more space in the drip tray so you wouldn't have that. But I think the main con that I have with this is how cluttered all of this is. If you have your hot water tap straight on like this, you can't pull this lever up because you'll hit that. So you have to put this out here, which honestly I never even use the hot water tap anyway. I just don't really find a need for it a ton. And then with the cups and all that stuff, it's kind of like, it just seems super congested to steam and brew at the same time because I'm nervous about spilling something or hitting something with how close together everything is on here. I do love this top cup warmer here in the top of the machine. I found that I could hold 8 cups on here. I held 2 of these 12-ounce Not Neutral cups. I added 2 cappuccino cups. I added 2 espresso cups. And I added a cortado cup and another espresso cup on here. So I managed to fit 8 cups in here ranging from size. So it wasn't just 8 espresso cups, it was 8 various size cups. So I could have 2 for pretty much every drink that I wanted. I probably could have fit 2 cortados on there instead of an extra espresso cup, but that's kind of what I had, and that's what I went with. I'm not a fan of the portafilter because I found when you're tamping on a tamping mat, because the spouts go on this side of the machine, it makes it kind of hard to push up against the side of it and tamp on an even surface unless you have a tamping cradle. However, the majority of this time I just switched to a bottomless portafilter anyway. However, this is a nice stream on there. It does seem built well and it feels good. The tamper is very good for the type of machine that it is. Typically machines come with a really bad tamper and it just does not produce good shots or anything like that. It's usually plastic on a lot of them. This has a nice feel to it while tamping. However, I do feel that it's slightly smaller than the portafilter basket, which leaves a little bit of gaps around the edges on there in comparison to my Barista Hustle tamper. However, I don't feel that the need to upgrade the tamper right away is completely necessary. So when I look at the value of this machine for $1,800, it's a great machine. I love the flat mat here. I really love the finish of the machine. It just goes great with my equipment. One of the things that I really like about the finish I don't get to see often, and that is the back of the machine. The back of the machine here has that same finish here, and the logo just looks great. So if it's sitting on a kitchen island like this where you can see all sides of it, that would be a really, really great thing to have. But most people don't have that, so you kind of miss out on the great detail that they put back there. When brewing and using the when steaming and using the hot water tap, there is a nice little feature that this has, and that is no burn steam wands or hot water tap. And with the no burn feature on here, it means you can touch it and you won't burn your hand, and it also means that the milk won't stick on there. However, the tips still are scalding hot and it doesn't have the no burn feature. It says no burn, but that does not mean it won't be hot. So when you touch these things, especially after 6 shots, you can only touch it so long and it will be hot. These little pieces to control the arms you don't really actually need, and I would honestly probably take off if I kept the machine, because they just pop off like this and it looks like they're just some 3D printed plastic on there. So overall, this machine is great. I think for the build quality of this is phenomenal, especially when you compare it to things like the Breville Dual Boiler, which I'm not going to get too much into the comparison here, but the feel of this versus that is absolutely incredibly different. This feels so much better than Rancilio Silvia. The legs on this are nice. Again, the only cons is this seems kind of clustered and the drip tray seems a little bit small. But other than that, I've been very, very pleased with this machine. I've been very surprised with this machine. I think this is great for a lot of people who especially want to maybe do a little bit of hosting where you're making 6 shots or so back to back. It can handle that pretty well. It's got this pressure sensor here to tell you how many bars of pressure are in the boiler. This does not show how like a pressure gauge to see how much bars you're pulling through the pressure. It just makes sure that the machine is ready to go. This machine does take about 30 minutes to turn on and heat up. That is quite a time, but it's well worth it to get the best to make sure all the machine is heated up on here. That is why I bought one of these things called a outlet plug. Basically, this outlet plug, I plug this machine into, directly into this, and then there's a little piece, and then it goes straight into the outlet. And what happens with that is I just leave my machine on. And with that, I can control to turn the machine on and off remotely from completely away from my house, or I can do it from the bedroom, or I can use Siri to turn it on and off. The only con is this switch has to stay up the entire time, and you actually turn off and on the power through the outlet. So having something like your phone or HomePod or something along the lines of that near it is kind of helpful, because you can turn it on and off using Siri, or you can find some that use basically any other thing if you're an Android user. So having one of those where I can turn it on and let it heat up from the bedroom, get ready in the morning, and don't have to come out here is a very nice feature. You can also set it on a timer, so you can turn it on to turn on at 6 o'clock every morning or 7 or whenever you wake up, and it can be preheated and ready to go for you. It also has an auto turn off feature too, so you can turn it off remotely and you can turn it off at a certain time if you'd like to make sure that it's not on all day. That is just a really nice feature to be able to come to the machine and it's ready to go, and you don't have to worry about coming there, turning it on, and then coming back 30 minutes later. That's a kind of a ridiculous feature to have, but for $10, adding it to an $1,800 machine, that's not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things, and it's well worth it. So if you're buying this machine, you don't really need anything out of the box, because I think it does do a very good job of providing it for you. But I would eventually probably get a bottomless portafilter, and I eventually would get another tamper, because I've used other tampers and this nice. But this definitely gets you a good start. I wish this was spread out a little bit more, and I wish that basically, yeah, I just wish this was spread out more, and I wish that the cup tray was larger, and that would be a pretty good machine. This is pretty easy and user-friendly to do. There's things that you don't have control over, like the flow rate and the pressure and things like that. You just kind of get what you get out of the machine, but it is a pretty consistent from shot to shot and things like that, so you won't really go wrong there. If you have any questions or want to know anything about this machine, please let me know. I'd love to help that out with in the comments below, help you out with anything that you need. Again, stay subscribed for the Flare 58 versus this machine, and I'll tell you why you should buy one versus the other. They're at a hefty price point difference, where the Flare is about $600 and this is $1,800, so you're looking at a third of the difference. So I've compared shots with these, and I'm going to tell you which one is better and which one you'd get why. But overall, this is a machine that I would actually like to have in my kitchen. Of course, who wouldn't want to have an $1,800 machine in the kitchen? However, this doesn't meet my needs in all of the realms that I want, which I wish it had a PID on there so I can control the temperature, and I wish I could control the flow rate on there too, because that's one of the features that I miss on there. But aesthetic-wise, I think this might be one of the best looking machines out there, especially at a lower price point, because most of them are stainless steel. In this one, you can get the flat matte finishes on, which I am a huge fan of. So overall, I will probably never buy this machine, because I would prefer a few more features, but that's also because I'm a little particular on the things that I want to put in the kitchen, just through all the things that I've used over the past couple of years. I don't think it's necessary to upgrade it from this, because the margins of better quality espresso you're going to get from it is going to be very, very slim from it. This also creates good microfoam. I forgot to mention that. My first time using the steam wand, great consistency on the microphone and great to pour latte art with. So it's not going to lack in the steam power there, and it's not going to lack in the ability to do that. And it is a nice feature to brew at the same time. Yeah, so let me know if you have any questions, and please subscribe and stay tuned for that comparison with the Flare 58. Thanks for watching.